Hi guys, it's Carly here back at the apothecary, and today we are talking about the nemesis of all foragers, which is hay fever and allergic reactions. So, you've probably consulted a doctor if your symptoms are really bad, and they have given you a list of over-the-counter medications that you can purchase: nasal sprays, nose balms, and antihistamines. However, if like me, you'd prefer a more natural approach, we are going to discuss a few here. The diagnosis was allergic rhinitis, hay fever, or as I prefer, pollinitis. Symptoms are blocked running nose, running eyes, itching everything. What it means is an allergen or something foreign has landed on the soft fatty tissues in your nose and they've released histamines. This can be in your throat as well. Severe sufferers experience similar results with pet fur and house dust. So, number one, treating it internally. There are foods that contain naturally occurring bioflavonoids called quercetin, which will stabilize the moist cells and prevent them from releasing the histamines that cause the allergic reaction. These include citrus fruits, onions, apples, parsley, various teas, tomatoes, broccolis, and lettuce. Foods high in omega-3 fatty acids are believed to have anti-inflammatory processes, so that's cold water fish, walnuts, the ones that look like brains, and flaxseed oil. I believe grass-fed cheeses and meats are as well. However, there are herbal alternatives. These can be purchased in capsule form. Things like eye bright are believed to help with the itching of the eyes. Berber, I believe, has antihistamine properties, as is Echinacea purpurea, otherwise known as the coneflower. If you're able to source any of these naturally, then great, but as I said, they are available readily in capsule form. And to help keep your nasal passages clear, add chilies and horseradish to your diet. Also hot mustard. Tip number 2 is know your enemies. There are different types of pollen released at different times of the year. There are flower pollens and tree pollens. You might react to some, you might not react to others. So, know your enemies. Tip number 3 is know when to forage. On a windy day, the air is likely to be full of pollen, where on a rainy day, it's quite likely that it's all fallen to the ground. Then, do you go out in sunrise where the earth is warming and the pollen comes up, or do you go down at sunset when it's coming down again? Neither. Yeah, pick a point in between where it's likely high enough in the air that it's not going to bother you too much. So, internal measures and ideas for when is best to go, all covered. We are now going to look at some other things that we can do to avoid the pain of allergies and inflammations and allergic reactions. And then we were very lucky to come across a very healthy patch of stinging nettles. Absolutely beautiful. So we'll have a quick look in here and see what we can find. One pair of gloves, one Ziploc bag, and one pair of clippers, long sleeves, boots, and long trousers. And we're gonna come in here and just prick off those top 4 leaves on each of those and bring them home for our tea. We wandered past a sea of dock leaves and dandelions on our way, so we harvested some of those fresh flowers. And we will add these to our first recipe, which is a nettle tips and dandelion tea, which has proved to combat the effects of hay fever. Next, we are making a nose balm, and the idea is that if you coat the nasal passages, the pollen will stick to that and not go in your nose. My favorite involves calendula, as it has antibacterial, antifungal, and anti-inflammatory properties. You will need a base oil. Olive oil, almond oil, or coconut oil will work perfectly, and you will need equal amount in beeswax. You can use pellets or bars. You'll need a double boiler system, which is a pan of hot water and a method of suspending your liquid above it. So we're just going to heat that, add our petals in, and keep them warm until all the goodies have come out. Decant it into a container of your choice and allow it to cool. Apply to the nasal passages as needed. And recipe number 3 is a topical treatment for bites and stings using dock leaves, nettles, and plantain. Now, although these have medicinal qualities of their own, we are going to be sticking them in a very handy balm. Again, we will need a base oil, almond, olive or coconut, and beeswax. I've added aloe into mine. And we have the usual suspect, the nettle tips. I don't advise touching these with raw hands. We have our giant dock leaves. And we have some long-leaved plantain. They're the ones that have these flowery buds during the season. So, and we also have some aloe vera gel that I've harvested. And we're going to heat those all in with our oil, sieve them as before, and allow them to cool until we have our own antihistamine gel. So this is my list of internal and external ideas and remedies for reducing the effects of pollen and hay fever. Thank you guys for coming back, and I will see you at the apothecary again soon.